Messing around with Villa-Lobos again, prelude number 3. Trying to get back to the real world here after, of course, being away for a couple of weeks. Sorry I missed you last week. There was just too much going on between graduation and everything else, and tracking down new shirts at the farmers market in Hilo. Great deals, 17 bucks, folks. Stay away from those expensive ones, the designer stuff. Let's see, it's May 23rd. I'm back in California and happy to be here. It's been a long time since I've been away for 2 weeks, but had a great time. It was really fun hanging out with the family and hanging out in Hilo where it virtually never rained. If you've ever been to Hilo and you've gone through 2 weeks of no rain, well, never mind, never happens. All the rain came in the middle of the night. It was really, really cool. Hopefully we're going to get back to our regular programming in the very near future as next week wanders on. Morning, pot sticker. And but I want to give you a quick rundown on some of the stuff that I missed last week and tell you I'm going to make a few predictions that I hope might even be turned into promises, but I can't promise them yet. We are working really heavily on getting out IGC videos. Now, as you know, so far all we've put out is the open mic stuff. But I'm pretty sure next week we're finally going to get to a little bit of either Al Stewart or Muriel or Alex DeGrassi. One of them, we're going to have parts of them. It's just been a long process with that. Partly because those were shot with multiple cameras. Anyway, it's a long story. I don't need to give you the whole rundown. But big stuff going on with videos from last year's camp, and we're still working on some really exciting things that might happen that are in the planning stages for this year. So hopefully we'll get to that in the near future. Wiley, the Dave Nachmanoff thing. I hope that looked. I'm really glad that went off so well, and we were of course very excited about getting Dave out here for the camp, and we'll be setting up some hopefully a little concerts or two. We have not got a plan yet for the Don Quixote's show that we will probably be putting on Friday. This is way too many probablys. I've got to get to some reallys. What did I want to talk about? I want to give you. Here's the quick rundown on the songs that showed up while I was like off the grid. Got two of Vanessa songs. We had Pearl Jam, Sirens, and James Blunt, Bonfire Heart. Nice little tunes. Sandy came in the other day and said, "I got to learn some of Vanessa's songs." So we're working on that. She's picking an older one though too. We'll get to more fly on the wall things with Sandy in the near future. Speaking of fly on the wall, I finally got to a very cool part of Chan's lesson, right near the end, where we ended up playing through Blue Sky. Now I hope there's enough info for anybody that wanted to learn the chord progression to Blue Sky. It's all there. So I'd been toying with the idea of doing a lesson on it. It kind of got sidetracked. There you go. 4 chords. Got it? In the key of E with the secondary subdominant. Flatted 7 chord thrown in there as well. Let's see. Got to a couple of Beatles tunes. That kind of concludes our. I think I was trying to do the 15 first singles of the Beatles, and I think I got to them all. So if you want to check back, going back to beginning of February when we did this, so we have a new set of Beatles early hits that is happening there too. Let's see. I wanted to talk about a few things on the forum. I guess I should tell you a little bit more about the trip. Well, this has to do with. Of course, got to meet Mark Yamanaka, which was. If you watch some of those episodes, I was floored. We have 3 of them that have been up so far. We'll get to some of the rest next week. And it gets even more amazing now. I do have to apologize for some of the upcoming video because we just let the camera run for an hour and a half. Never bothered to get up and see how it was doing. Sometimes it was focusing on the ocean behind us. Sometimes it'd focus on like the cat in front of us. So there's little parts coming out of focus and out of light as the sun was setting. We were shooting there in the house on right across from Waiuli, the park where I mentioned the song that I started a couple of weeks ago, sitting out there at sunrise. And anyway, so the lighting got weird, the focus got weird, but the audio is mostly okay. There's a little glitch in some of the audio in the very first part, as I recall. But as my dearly departed father-in-law used to say when we were working on some little fence project or something, do we have to measure this really carefully? Do we have to get, should we measure this twice or something? He goes, we're not making no pianos. I said, oh, okay. So, same deal. As you probably have figured out, my philosophy with stuff here at Totally Guitars is I'm not making feature films. It's more home video. And so anyway, the stuff with Mark though, and if you're, I'll try to find this info, but the awards, the Hoku Awards that he is up for 10 of are tomorrow. So if you want to tune in, if you're on the East Coast, it's going to be like really, really late, probably, because I think it's probably Saturday evening Hawaiian time, which is 6 hours from the East Coast, 3 hours from here, and same as some of the time in Alaska. Anyway, but I really encourage you to check out Mark, and we are hoping to get him over here for at least over into California. And I know he's coming in December. We might be able to set up a little concert for him, or maybe a little playing here in the friendly confines of TG Central, where we don't have a whole lot more control over the light or the weather or the birds or the jackhammers or anything. Oh yeah, that was we were right near the airport, if you've seen that part yet. So we had a lot of planes taking off and or coming in during that little stretch. I'll get more to the family vacation side of it later, but it was just really fun to see the first graduation of the next generation with Rebecca, and it was also very cool to have all the kids together. Lizzie flew out from New York, finished up school, and then joined us there. So, and Corey was there too. In case anybody doesn't know, I have 3 kids. That was them. Let's see. Now, the last couple things I want to talk about are some things that were on the forum that were really cool. The thread about song titles and song association was pretty neat. I've had a few. I haven't had time to sit down and type any things like that, but I loved the little idea that Daryl, I believe it was, came up with. Now there was something else that was really interesting, and that was the borrowing music idea. Sometimes you pay, sometimes you get away with it. You paid for this one. George Harrison paid for this one. Jimmy has not yet paid for this one. But I think he's gonna. You know, we've talked about Taurus before as a song written by Randy California and performed by his band Spirit in the late 60s, particularly when they were touring with Led Zeppelin. When Led Zeppelin came over in the first place, they opened for Spirit. So, which brings me to the Here Comes the Sun Ticket to Ride thing. Goes to show, the question that came up was, can you copyright a chord progression? Absolutely not. Now, because there are lots of other songs that do this. Two examples by the same guy. Hope everybody figured that out. Anyway, lots of songs use that minor chord or minor key with the descending bass line by half steps. Sometimes you hear it by whole steps. And then chromatic. Sometimes you hear this. Sometimes you hear this. Can't copyright chord progression. But you can also hear the Here Comes the Sun thing in that the chord progressions follow enough of a similar pattern that the melodies fit over it. Did it ever occur to anybody that those two progressions were that close to similar? Probably not. Now the rhythm in Here Comes the Sun breaks off a little bit, but okay, I think that is it for today, because I have to, I'll tell you about it later, but this is what I do. I do want to lead to the, hopefully, like I mentioned, we'll get back on the plan of a little bit more timely new lessons, except I'm working on a package of stuff that is going to be one of the most useful things anybody has ever seen for guitar players. So can't tell you too much about it yet, but I'm really excited. It's just turning out to be a lot more time consuming than I thought. So got a nice little thing coming up in the near future. Let me think. I'm looking at my list. Nothing else I want to talk about now. I guess I could play a tune. How about let's think of something I have not played in forever. Nah, I've done that one. I gotta get back to practicing. Hopefully we'll be back in the real world here. Yeah, gotta get back in shape. Did not get much playing in it, why as I was hoping to. Okay, that's enough. I will see you next week. Will it be June yet? No, not quite. We'll have 2 more days. So, okay, I give up. More Villa-Lobos. Maybe more next week.